Qigong is it's energy cultivation, and it's thought of as a preventative medicine, kind of like a diagnostic medicine as well, right? Because we're moving the body and being curious about where energy is stuck and how we can do different movements that can help with lower back pain, that can also upregulate the nervous system and also maybe help us find balance, right? And so today, and then with the idea always to be curious, to have non-judgmental awareness about what you're experiencing, to try and be curious. And that's what it comes down to. But then also really being able to harness energy. So for instance, let me take this off. So when I'm running on the treadmill, or if I'm rollerblading around the park, right, I'm practicing, I'm gathering energy. And that's something that you may consider too, Susan, when you're walking, right, is gathering energy from the earth into your body. When I'm running, I'm scooping and cupping qi, right? So the practice can happen anywhere, right? In the same way that when we're washing the dishes, right, we can either complain about washing dishes, or we can be grateful we have dishes to wash, much less having hot water, right? And then you can even take it another step further and connect to the element of the water. And you can imagine that you're washing, removing ignorance, right? So it all depends upon how we're coming to it. Everything depends upon how we're coming to it. And then Qigong is the embodiment of wisdom, I think, and exploration. So what I'd like for us to do today, and we've been kind of doing this more and more. I just have to look at my clock because that clock's not right. Is we start with the 9 breaths of purification. So we're going to start with that. It's a seated meditation practice incorporating breath work. Susan, you have a question?
My question is, how does Qigong relate to sleep patterns? Because mine are just lately all over the map. For instance, I was up at 3 o'clock this morning, I think, working.
Yeah, everybody's sleep patterns right now. I think if you're human on this planet, your sleep patterns are going to be messed up, for sure, considering everything that's going on.
Mine isn't. Mine are great.
That's great, Danny. Oh, well. I'm happy for you. You can practice some Tonglen then, yeah, for us. What I recommend for sleep patterns, and I'm familiar with that too, right, is one, different techniques that you can utilize is to recognize what you're experiencing, and try to drop into like doing love and kindness meditation for yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Right, so the moment you notice monkey mind, chattering nonstop, planning, thinking, worrying, whatever it is, right? For me, I'm deep in like creating a research proposal, so that's like all I think about, but that's not so helpful at 3:30 in the morning. I mean, I guess it could be, but not when you have to get up, So what I've started practicing, and this has been for years now, is just dropping into, may I be happy, may I be peaceful, may I be safe, may I live with ease, may I be happy, may I be peaceful. And that becomes the mantra, like my lullaby. Okay. Another technique that you can utilize before going to bed is put your legs up on a chair or against the wall. And that'll help to engage the parasympathetic nervous system. And the parasympathetic nervous system being the part of the nervous system that's responsible for rest and digest.
You mean like with straight legs against the wall,
or on a chair or on your bed? Yeah, up on your bed while your body's on the floor. Bringing our bodies to the floor is really helpful. And another technique that I've been utilizing for myself, and I've shared with other people, some of my clients, is to have playing like singing bowl music, or you can listen to like theta brainwave music, so that if you're coming up out of sleep, the music can kind of bring you back down. right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And also because like so much of like working with a nervous system that's kind of going all over the place, you know, and you can see that as being aversion or attachment. It requires a lot of effort sometimes. So having the music underneath is a way to just kind of bolster your nervous system without doing anything. Yeah. There's a track, and then we'll get going, but there's a track that I listen to often. Let me see if I can pull it up and put it in the chat. Let me just find the composer. And it's really, really beautiful. Okay, it's called, the album is called Nest, and it's Robert Rich. And I just put that in the chat. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's really, really, I mean, honestly, if you put your legs up on a chair, maybe use a weighted blanket or some sandbags on your thighs or at the abdomen and put that on. I do that often, especially when I'm working with a lot of trauma, my own and also private clients, including all of the fuckery that I deal with on a daily basis in Uganda. I run an NGO in Uganda, you know, because the nervous system just cannot keep going and going and going. You have to rest. All right, so what we're going to do is start off with the 9 breaths of purification. Is anybody, I know most of you are familiar with this practice. Who's not familiar? Not familiar. Okay. So the 9 breaths of purification is a practice. It's a Buddhist practice. Okay. And it's in many lineages. It's in Nyingma, it's in Mahayana, it's in Dzogchen, it's in Galupa, right? So the idea is that we clear the subtle body from aversion, which is considered to be on the right side. And then we clear the subtle body from attachment, grasping, that grasping energy, right? And these are connected to each other on the left side. And then we clear the central channel, which is also pretty much the vagus nerve, from ignorance, right? Out of which arises suffering. So it's 9 breaths, and then we add a breath at the end. Or I add a breath at the end. That's just something that I've been doing for a long time. Okay. So I'll encourage you to find your mountain, whether you're in a chair or on a meditation cushion. I'm on a meditation cushion, and I'll just show you. I have bolsters underneath my knees because I've been sitting for so long in this position that I need to kind of support myself. All right. So everybody find your mountain. You can broaden your collarbones, lift up your sternum. And let's actually do a little bit of seated movement to kind of utilize the gross anatomy of our body to get in touch with the subtle body. All right. When we've done this before, it's a nice way to kind of open up. So if you're in a chair, find that your feet are underneath your knees, your feet are parallel and hip width apart. And if you're in a meditation cushion, everybody can do this, press the edges of your feet down into the ground. Notice how this may help the spine raise. Okay, and then hands are going to be on knees, and we'll inhale and round the spine. And then exhale, pull your chest through. See if you can bring your awareness to your shoulder blades and watch as they kind of slide over your ribs, right? So inhale, round. Exhale, pull your chest through. And then find your sternum, find the underneath of your sternum and move with it, right? Let your mind move with it as you inhale. And exhale. Okay, and then come to center, and we'll just do a couple little neck rolls, right? So really drop the chin down into the sternum. And you can practice, what is it, the word that sunflowers do when they track the sun across the sky? Helio something. Right? Allow yourself to be like the sun.
Heliotropism.
Thank you. Thank you, Danny. Heliotropism, right? So be a sunflower. And then this time, let's combine it with the breath. So inhale, come up, exhale. And maybe go the other way. Inhale. And exhale. And then come to center. And we'll do a little bit more of that, letting the weight of the head lengthen the neck when we come to stand. But for right now, take the left hand and bring it to your right knee. Take your right hand behind you. Inhale and lengthen the spine up. Okay, try to keep the hips square and the knees square. And then exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, and then as we come back through center, as we unfurl ourselves, notice how your liver opens. And then do a counter twist to the other side. Press the back of the right hand against the left knee. Roll that right shoulder open. Okay, and maybe like me, you just cracked your back. That was awesome. Come back to center. And before we do the other side, drop your awareness into your spine. Okay, and see if you can notice if it's more electric or more fluid, where energy is moving more. Okay, and if you can't notice anything, try and remember that that's also a noticing, right? So for me, one side of my spine has a different color. There's more movement. Okay, and now if you're seated cross-legged, just cross your legs the other way, which might feel very strange. Okay, and now we're going to take the right hand to the left knee, left hand behind you. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Again, trying to keep the knees over the feet if you're seated. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Okay, and just maybe drop your awareness again into your organs. Notice the twisting. I just actually made myself burp. That's very funny. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, and again, notice, right, the compression and release of the organs as we do a counter twist to the other side. Pressing the back of the left hand against the right knee. And then come back to center. Okay, and again, drop your awareness into your spine. And notice what you notice. Okay, I have to let Horse Puppy out. This is my dog. You see his tail? Sorry about that. So the practice, right, whether it's Qigong or it's yoga, right, of mindful movement is just utilizing your own body and the architecture of your body to break that monkey mind. Does that make sense? We're going to keep doing that, right? Because if I'm bringing my awareness to my sternum or my shoulder blades, I'm not thinking about anything else. All right, we'll move into the 9 breaths of purification. So you can take the middle finger of the right hand, press it gently against the right nostril. Inhale through the left. Okay, and I'm kind of lifting my sternum up. Drop your chin into your sternum. into the sternal notch and just notice any recent moment of aversion, right? Frustration, anger, irritation. Maybe even notice like where that is in your body. And then you can lift your chin, close left, exhale right, envisioning a green light. And again, close right, inhale left. Drop the chin into the sternum. Notice what arises. And this could even be from years ago, or maybe even lifetimes ago. Lift the chin, close left, exhale right. And again, close right, inhale left. Drop the chin. Notice what arises, and perhaps with compassion and maybe even humor to yourself. Lift the chin, close left, exhale right. And now we'll do the other side. So close left, inhale right. Up, drop the chin. And notice what arises as far as any attachment or grasping energy. Right? The root of suffering, of holding on to your ego, the idea of your ego. Or maybe just not getting what you want. And then lift the chin. Close right, exhale left, follow the breath out as far as you can. And again, close left, inhale right. Yeah, drop the chin into the sternum. Notice what arises. Lift the chin. Close right, exhale left. And again on this side, close left, inhale right. Drop the chin. Lift the chin. Close right, exhale left. And now we'll inhale through both nostrils. You can draw the breath over the back of the skull, down the spine, retain it just below the belly button. All right, so deep inhale. Drop the chin into the sternum. Also draw up on the earthly doors or the pelvic floor. Release the earthly doors. Lift the chin, exhale out through the crown of the skull, and you can envision an electric blue light. And again, deep inhale. Drop the chin. Earthly doors. Lift the chin. Release the earthly doors and exhale out through the crown of the skull. And again, deep inhale. When we release this breath, we'll immediately inhale back down through the central channel, a golden light, and you can think of it as filled with the wisdom and compassion of all of the past and present and future Buddhas. So lift the chin, release the earthly doors, exhale out through the crown of the skull. Inhale back down. And then one last time, you can drop the chin into the sternum and allow the wisdom and compassion of all of the Buddhas to fill every cell of your body. And then lift the chin. Exhale slowly, slowly. And when you open your eyes, you can look through the eyes of a Buddha. Simply noticing. If anybody has any questions about that practice, please ask. It can be very technical, and it kind of is, right? But people have been doing this for thousands of years, and they realize there's certain techniques that are within our own bodies that help us to heal.
So Gina, with aversion, the first one, breathe in right and then out left. Is that correct?
When we're doing the right side,
Yeah,
so it's in left
in left.
and then out right. Yeah, it's
Okay.
alternate nostril breathing, and there's a ton of different techniques, but for this technique in particular, right, what we're doing is clearing the right side of the body from any form of aversion, right? And as Venerable Rabina likes to say and remind us, right, like frustration and irritation are just polite forms of anger, right? And anger is attachment not getting what it wants, right? That's why they're so intertwined, right? And then an attachment, which is the left side of the body, is all about, it can be so subtle even, right? It's like not getting what you want. Like if your coffee's too hot, or like if somebody didn't pull the garbage trucks or the garbage cans in it. That was my thing last night, right? Like just noticing the fluctuations of the mind, because we're ping-ponging back and forth between wanting and not wanting, wanting and not wanting. It's exhausting, right? And then to get to a place where you can just witness, and there's no bad or good, there just is. Does that make sense? And when we're clearing that central channel, and this is common in all of these traditions, right? The central channel in Qigong, it's known as the spiritual needle, right? In Buddhism and Hinduism, it's the central channel. And if you look at images from hundreds of years ago, and I'll repost one, but if you look at these images, it's the vagus nerve. And what we're doing is toning the vagus nerve. Breath work, 100%. Every time we drop our chin into our sternum, also toning the upper portion of the vagus nerve, which is responsible for helping us have social engagement. Okay, and we can talk more about that at another time, you know, because we can get really technical, but I want us to get into the physical practice. All right. And as I try to remind people too, like if you felt a bit more calm or grounded, and sometimes opening to wisdom through just that practice, I had nothing to do with it. That was you. You know what I mean? So let's we'll come and stand. I'm going to share. So that was the 9 breaths of purification. I added in a breath because I don't know, it just seemed like the thing to do when I first started doing this practice like 15 years ago. Right? Drawing in the wisdom and compassion of all of the Buddhas into your body, like, why not? You know, why would you not do that? And what we're going to start with now is the 3 treasures. And then I think some bilateral movement, which is what I wanted to do. I think we'll do some teacup. And also, I think Lorraine, the Shaolin practice that we were doing, which I have found just to be so grounding and lovely. Yeah, and my idea too is to do these and share these with you so that you know them, you have them. I know they're recorded, but you know, for you to be, sometimes I forget that, and I find them on Google, and I'm like, oh yeah. But for you to be able to, no matter where you are, if you have 10 minutes, 15 minutes to just practice, okay? And to utilize them, embody the practices in the same way that I have. All right, so we're gonna come and stand. And we don't have so much time, so maybe we'll just do like a 5-minute shake. I think next week what I want to do is have like a 20-minute shake and then like one practice that we just do again and again and again, because that itself is a practice going very slow. And maybe I'll invite it like a guest. I like having guest stars. All right, so we'll do a shake. So in Sakrina, the shake, and it's literally called the shake. The shake is a discharge process. Okay, so we're going to start off in our mountain, feet are together or hip width apart, right? Depending upon the shape of your feet. My hands are interlocked at the thumb webbing, right below my belly button at the lower dantian. Okay, in Qigong, just as in yoga, there's energy centers. In Qigong, there's also meridians and pathways. The 3 main energy centers in Qigong is the lower dantian, which is associated with the earth, the middle dantian, which is associated with the heart and the human, and the upper dantian, which is associated with the heavens, which is the sun, the moon, and the stars, and also our spirit, our Shen. Okay, but first we're going to do a little bit of a discharge. So inhale and exhale. Bring your awareness to what you hear from your right eardrum. And now your left. And then inhale. Release the mudra. Notice the air on your right palm and your left. And as you exhale, step out to the right. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, extend your fingers into the sky. And again, inhale and exhale. And you can reach your fingers up so much, maybe they graze the ceiling and they reach up out of the building that you're in, and the sky can now flow down into you, into every finger joint and wrist and elbow, shoulder, And maybe your feet come up off the ground a bit, your heels. And just hold it. Right? You're connecting the heavens and the earth through the human. And then inhale. Bring the arms to shoulder height, slight bend in the elbows, palms are up. Hold the sky in your palms. And then begin to bend down. Exhale, jump up and release. I literally feel like I should be doing this for like the next half hour. So just shake out, begin with the fingers and the wrists, the feet and the ankles. Putter the lips. Take your fingertips and run them through your hair and the scalp. You can pull on your eardrums. Take a moment too and run your thumbs over every point in your ears, right? Every point in the ear is associated with a point in the body, right? So notice what you notice. And then you can tap on the top of the head, find the crown of the skull, the heavenly gate, open it. And cupping the palms to the forehead and the occiput, right? This is also helpful for dissociation, right? If you're not feeling connected to your body, come back to your body. And I use the hum sound to clear any stuck energy. I'm also mapping my body with my palms. Hands. Anybody has allergies right now? This might be quite helpful. Chest. Come down all the way down through the tops of the legs and the feet, and the backs of the legs. Right, so this is kind of what I mean by like diagnostics. You're literally checking out what is going on. The arms, top of the arms. All right, we'll open the shoulders. Yeah, and then also, so for Lorraine, you can like think about taking one leg up and drawing your knee into your chest. Maybe that'll help release the lower back. And then the other one. Okay, and then we're just gonna freestyle for the next moment, right, before we go into the movement. You can jump up and down. Just kind of wiggle everything out, right? You can be like, you know, those like inflatable guys that are by like the car washes, right? You'd be like boneless. All right. Shake it out. And then in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just stop. Right, you may notice tingling, vibrating, right? The idea is that we disorganize, right, patterns and then reorganize through form. You can draw the arms around, step the right foot back to the left. Fingertips face each other, Palms face the earth and just begin to smooth down the meridians of the subtle body. And hands come back into the Tai Chi Mudra. Notice what you notice. Okay, we'll go into the three treasures. So inhale. Exhale, release the mudra again, step out to the right. Right? Each movement has kind of a beginning and an end, and we end with like going back into mountain sometimes. So your horse stance can be super deep or not, right? Depending upon whatever's going on with your body, your energy level. I was just sharing this with the teenage students, which is always fun. All right, so in your horse stance too, right? I'll show you from the side. You don't want to overarch your lower back, right? Because you don't want to compress the lumbar vertebrae. So slight tuck and my upper body's up. For those of you that have ridden horses, you know that if you don't hold yourself up, that horse will kick you off. Okay, so earthly doors closed. That's the pelvic floor. Draw that up. Also for us ladies, very important. Engage the pelvic floor. Draw it up. And in fact, just pause, release it, draw it up. And you notice a difference. So in Qigong, the idea is that we engage the earthly doors because we're containing our energy. Earthly doors closed. Heavenly gate is open. Inhale. Turn the palms up. When you get right about here at shoulder height, roll the shoulders back. And then hands to the sun as we exhale. Pause. Okay, allow the light of the sun, which whether or not it's day or night, it is always there. Allow the light of the sun to fall into your palms. Practice photosynthesis. Literally feel it moving into your right and your left. On your wrists and your elbows. And then inhale. Straighten the legs and press out. Exhale. Press out even more. Inhale. And then exhale, straighten through the wrists. That's it, Susan. Right. And now touch the sides of the room with the consciousness in your fingers. Graze your fingertips against the walls or the windows. And then inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Okay. If this is your first forward fold of the day, you can bend your knees. If your hamstrings are tight, bend your knees. And then here, wag your head yes, wag it no. Allow the weight of your neck to the weight of your head to lengthen your neck. And then inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, slowly roll up. Gather the energy of the earth into your body. Allow it to nourish your organs, stomach, spleen, liver, heart and lungs. And then roll the shoulders back. Hands to the sun. Okay, we'll do that a few more times. Okay, and from here, notice the difference between the right palm and the left. Inhale. Straighten the legs and then exhale, press out. Okay, notice the heat of the heart extending through the palms. Inhale. Exhale, expand. That's it. reaching through the fingers. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale. Exhale, slowly roll up, gather the earth. Nourish your body with all of the elements in the earth. Slowly, slowly roll the shoulders back, hands to the sun, and pause. We'll do one more, okay? Inhale. Straighten the legs and then exhale, press out. Notice how you're moving molecules of air. Inhale. Exhale, expand yourself. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale. Exhale, slowly roll up and pause. Okay, and pause and notice, right? For me, the three treasures, the practice we just did, is always a very balancing practice, right? So now we're going to do teacup. What I've noticed sometimes is when shoulders get super tight, they start to affect our neck, right? So this is a shoulder opener. And I'm going to start with my right hand. Okay, I was doing this earlier with the students and we had yoga blocks in our palms, but take your right hand and turn it so your fingertips kind of, that's it, Susan, pass through the belt meridian. And you might even feel that, right? Like I'm not even touching myself, but I can feel my fingers passing through my side body. And then I'm going to inhale, turn the palm up and around. That's it, Lorraine. And around and coming back. Yeah, shoulder opener. Nice, Susan. Vanessa, you guys are doing great. I just can't see you. All right, so now left hand. Right, around. That's it. All right, and each side may be very different. Let's do the left again. Open and around. Great. This is also a little bit of a heart opener, right? So hands here. Okay, earthly doors closed, heavenly gates open. Notice your feet too. Try not to like roll out on the edges. You press evenly between the big toe and the pinky side of the foot, right? All right, here we go. This one is fun. It kind of reminds me of like being in the Matrix. So inhale, both hands and around. Exhale. Nice. And again, inhale. You can make it a big heart opener or not, depending upon what you need right now. Move with me. Yeah, so harnessing energy, that's it. And again, inhale, exhale. Okay, you can imagine you have the sun in one hand and the moon in the other. All right, play, inhale, go the other way. Exhale, nice, Susan. That's it, Vanessa. So passing through the belt meridian and around and coming around, right? I highly recommend practicing this with teacups because that's why it's called teacup. So let's do a few more like that, okay? Inhale. Exhale. And again, inhale. Exhale, go through. Okay, and maybe let's go forward again. Inhale. Exhale. Great. And then just kind of bring your hands closer together. Feel the energy that you're kind of creating and cultivating there. Okay. If you like, actually, let's do this. So inhale, heel toe the feet a little closer together. Yeah. And then just bring the left hand right in front of your heart, like, I don't know, 5 inches away. Right hand here. This is called pulling toffee. Okay. So inhale, push in, exhale, pull out. And again, inhale, exhale. You may notice that as you're pushing in, you're kind of condensing qi. And then inhale, pressing in, and then let the left hand pull out. Pulling away and pressing back. Right, so qi, for those of you who may not know or may have forgotten, qi is universal energy. It's all around us, and it is us. So pull away, press in, and then take that energy and then just begin to bring it into your heart. Right, nourish your heart with it. And then, so next week, if you join me, we'll kind of keep building on that, but I want to play a little bit more with this qi that's everywhere. So have your hands here. You can step your feet in closer, slight bend in the knees. We've been doing this one a lot lately. I really like it. It's a beautiful practice. So I'm going to inhale and just cross my left over my right, and I can feel that energy, right? It's heat from my own body, but it's also like you can feel it extend, right? And then, so inhale, draw the arms out. They're at like hip height. And then exhale, turn the palms up. And bringing the palms all the way up to shoulder height. And then inhale, the arms float up. And then exhale, press down. And we're going to do this a few more times. You may notice a difference in energy beneath the right and the left. So hands come at hip height. Inhale, right? And it's almost like imagine you're standing in water. Okay, so inhale, right hand crosses over left. Exhale, draw the arms out. Pause, inhale. And then exhale, gather. Inhale, the arms come up. And exhale, slowly, slowly. You can do this really dynamically and push down or just kind of let them float down. That's it. Nice, Vanessa. And again, inhale, left over right. Exhale, hands turn out to the side. Okay, you can make this, again, dynamic, but just notice not to compress the lower back here. Okay, release the buttocks. It's such a funny word sometimes. And inhale. And then exhale, gather. Arms come up. And now notice what happens if you add some mantra to this. As you bring the hands down, may I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be safe. May I live with ease. Inhale, left over right. Exhale, open out. Inhale, pause. Exhale, gather. Inhale, arms raised. Male beings everywhere, be happy. Male beings everywhere, be peaceful. May all beings everywhere be safe. May all beings everywhere live with ease. Inhale, right over left. Exhale, open out. Inhale, pause. Exhale, gather. Inhale. May we be happy. May we be peaceful. May we be safe. May we live with ease. And we'll just do one more. So inhale. I think it's left over right. Exhale, open out. Inhale, pause. Exhale, gather. Inhale, arms come up. And exhale, you can perhaps allow all of your past kindnesses to nourish your future. And then step the right foot back to the left. Okay, we close the practice by, again, fingertips facing each other, palms facing the earth, slowly smoothing down. And as you do this, notice what you notice. Perhaps more balanced. Interesting. Hands come back to the Taiji Mudra, right at the lower dantian. Okay, and that sound, the it moves up through the central channel, just kind of like the Om does, yeah? And then we'll come and sit to end out. How's everybody feel? Good? It's found, I mean, Qigong is like magic land for me, you know, like when I'm practicing, you're just connecting to energy, and this is why I don't have to do like ayahuasca or any of that stuff. I'm like, woohoo. And the practices are so vastly different from each other. It's really interesting. But I hope they were useful for each one of you in some way. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts? No?
Oh, I have a question. So even with yoga, I notice in Qigong, there's like a lot of twisting movement. What is that twisting for? What does it do?
Well, in yoga, the twisting is, all right, so the seated spinal twist that we did, that's for spinal health. Because if we're always doing something in the sagittal plane, or if we're like sitting in a car for a long time and we start to compress the lumbar vertebrae. So when we're twisting, we're decompressing. And it's good for our organs, right? Because we're compressing the organs and then releasing the organs. And a lot of these practices, it's about compression and release, because it's a way of moving toxins through the body. And of also just of moving energy that's stuck. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The Qigong practices that we did were very much, I was hoping to get like a balanced forward plane. There are some that are very, very twisty. And maybe we can do some of those next week, right? But the idea is moving energy, right? Because when, everything that we experience, and we forget this, right? And I see this more and more, we're like in our phones, like we're so disembodied. But everything that we experience in this life is because we have a body.
Mm. So what are the consequences of just looking at your phone all the time?
Well, you're becoming an addict, that's for sure. You're feeding the hungry ghost.
It's really
And then what I'm
bad for
noticing, you're always looking for the dopamine spike, right? That's one thing. And that is one way in which we're becoming an addict. And another thing that I'm seeing, especially here in New York City, right? Everybody's like on the subway with their heads in their phone. And what's happening is they're having neck problems. Their eyes are having problems. Their whole posture is changing. Danny, did you want to say something?
hands too are having problems.
Yeah.
Hands and neck, and yeah, it's really bad for your spine.
Sorry.
Can
I'm
you
so
hear me
sorry.
all right? I'm trying some new headphones. Can you hear them all right?
Danny, that was you. Yeah, you're kind of freezing.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Did that help, Vanessa?
Yeah, just because I see it all the time and I'm like concerned. So I
Oh,
don't know.
I'm so concerned about what's happening. Especially with the teenagers, I teach in a high school just before this class, and with the kids, I'm like, put your phone down, put your phone down. And they're like, I can't. And I'm like, yes, you can. One way to deal with that is, and I'm not always successful at this. Mostly I am, but not always, is to, in the morning when I wake up, to not look at any social media or any news or anything. I may look at messages because I have to, because of my kids and then my NGO in Uganda, right? Because time zones and all that. But looking at social media or anything beyond anything that's important really messes up our heads, right? Ideally, it's like wake up. For me, ideally, an ideal morning is wake up, coffee, meditate
Mm.
right away. Or at the very least, that breath work practice. That's a daily practice. And for people that are working with a lot of dysregulation, which is many of us right now, to do breath work practice is like a daily prescription because it really helps. And I can talk more about that if you like. But it really helps. That and child's pose helps. Actually, Lorraine, you should be doing child's pose.
I love child's pose. It's very, very helpful for my low back, and puppy pose. I do that one a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, bridging is really, really good.
Yeah, you may want to put a block on, do Setu Bandha, put a block underneath your sacrum and just have it there. Feet are parallel and hip width apart. And then you just do that because that'll start to open up. Your psoas is probably getting super tight too.
Oh, it's nuts. I can hear it like, it's weird because my legs will like pop. And I think that's my psoas sliding over that pelvic bone. Just, it's so tight. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But
Yeah.
yeah, that'll help. Setu Bandha and then up into Viparita Karani with the legs up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anybody have any other questions? I had a meeting at 1:30, but now it's canceled, so I can
Okay.
hang out and talk for a few minutes.
Well, I noticed when we were doing the ears, I was kind of surprised. What I felt came out of nowhere. It was a lot of self-love, but
Uh,
also I noticed that I was detached from it. It's almost like I have this, I don't want to say aversion, but it's kind of like how Gen X, we were basically raised in a world where self-love made you weak. So you do everything yourself to distance yourself from that and turn yourself into this tough bitch who can handle anything. And you turn into that, but you're also an emotional cripple. So kind of dealing with trying to reconcile that.
yeah, I understand that. I mean, I used to get very, I was experiencing a lot of aversion towards myself because I wanted to be loved. And then right?
Yeah.
And then I realized that actually it's quite extraordinary to want love because you have it there, and to be vulnerable,
Mhm.
you know, to being vulnerable is like the most extraordinary act of bravery.
Yeah. Kind of gets you in a bad place sometimes, though. You get the wrong people.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's vulnerable with wisdom. You know, being vulnerable just means that your heart is open, not closed.
I've never been able to close it. It's been a problem.
I understand, but that's, you know, that's why, you know, working with our own attachment, like when we're doing the 9 breaths of purification, and especially loving kindness, right? Loving kindness is an amazing, amazing practice because, and I think I'll do a workshop on this again. I think it's time to talk about loving kindness and polyvagal theory. But in loving kindness, you know, we offer the wish for well-being to ourselves, right? And then we offer it to the beloved person that we hold in high regard. And then we offer it to the neutral person, somebody we don't feel strongly about one way or another.
Mhm.
And then we offer it to the difficult person.
Yeah.
Imagine or see that in fact we are our own beloved person, our own neutral person, our own difficult person. I am my own most difficult person all the time.
I
Right?
am.
Yeah. But then consider, like, if you saw yourself as your own beloved person, which is ideally what the practice is, right? Like, especially if you're a practicing Buddhist, we're working towards becoming a Buddha.
Yeah.
Who is our most beloved person.
That's it.
Working to, right? So it's, and again, it's, everything is how we come to it with our minds.
Yeah, I've been working with dependent arising and just, the Heart Sutra. And I was listening to, I have the YouTube channel with all the subscriptions to everything that goes through the Buddhist Center in Santa Fe. And I was in the Wheel of Sharp Weapons class, and then work happened and everything. So I'm catching up on that now. And he was going over dependent arising and how things don't exist from their own side alone. You have all of these elements that combine to make this what it is. So things don't really exist from their own side. And turning that, with this, that also ties into the Heart Sutra and quantum physics and everything the Dalai Lama says, and just trying to come to terms with how that affects my personal life and how I can work with that, with dependent arising, to turn things to where I can see things more clearly, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tricky, I mean, what I've been working with is the grasping for the non-grasping.
Mm.
Right? Where the practice becomes another form of grasping, and then to open and to allow, right? And to just continue to like cultivate the seeds, like cultivate the ground so that the seeds that have been planted can can grow, right? Because you're a good person, you're not an asshole, right? So you take sustenance, but you take sustenance in that. It's huge.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's huge, you know, and I would be careful of, you know, the term, like, as conditions allow,
Mhm.
as conditions allow is really important, or inshallah, right? We're still in Ramadan right now for anybody that practices or has friends that are Muslim. Inshallah. So many conditions in karma, I think, and I've had conversations with other practitioners and with Venerable Rabina, like karma is a really intricate, like the ability to see all of the manifestations of karma
Mhm.
really requires being a Buddha. You know, we can understand emptiness or the idea of it, you know, but I guess my point in all of this is like, give yourself a break.
I need one. And I
Yeah.
gotta say, Venerable Rabina is such a treasure. I love watching her.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
truly is. But like it, like, you know, because it can become like we're watching our minds, we're watching our minds, we're noticing, it's like, you know, yes, do that,
Mhm.
but not, you know, we have a tendency, I think, in the West, especially, and I noticed this for myself because I was raised Catholic, you know, or friends of mine that were raised Jewish, like we tend to do that. We're watching our minds with some form of self-loathing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is to have non-judgmental awareness,
Mhm.
right? Which is why I find Qigong so useful, because I'm just noticing. There's no judgment. I'm just noticing. And ideally, our thoughts are like, they just kind of rise and fall, and they have color and texture and weight,
Mhm.
but they're not who we are.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I mean, this, you know, I grapple with this too. We all do. You know, I had I was able to have a meeting with Venerable Rubina when she was here. I think she actually may still be here. And you know, where I was like, I have these moments, these incredible blissful moments of seeing all of the people around me like Buddhas. Not like, and now I will see them as Buddhas. No, they are, right?
Mhm.
And then I have moments of wrangling with like just the shit in my own head. Right? I'm like, how is this possible? She's like, well, you simply just haven't perfected it yet. And one of the things that she said that I found so profound in its simplicity during the retreat a couple of weeks ago, she said, and I wrote it down too, she said, stop practicing attachment.
How were you practicing attachment?
We're practicing attachment in all of the ways that we do, right? Like is
Right.
all of the ways. Little moments, big moments, little moments, big moments, but we're always like navigating towards this thing, which is feeding our ego, you know, and it's complicated, right? It's not uncomplicated, but I was like, oh, in all of the ways. For me, it's like, you know, trying to build, you know, to be recognized by my peers and, you know, and having accolades and all of that. And yes, it's so I can continue doing the work that I do with my nonprofit and helping people around the world. But then how much is my ego involved? Right. And how much of that is also based upon needing to make money, which is a very real fact. Right. But how much of that is ego driven? And really, and then I was like, like I saw very clearly that I had created this cycle of strong aversion, meaning fear-based, because of worrying about things that I could not control.
But see, the challenge is, you know, unless you're living a life of a monastic, like, you know, family, friends, and work, especially work for me, I don't really have so much friends or I'm not close with my family. It's like, I mean, my work is based on attachment, you know, in a sense where it's like, you know, I do have to do performance and productivity and, meet certain standards.
Well,
Right.
the thing is, and I totally understand what you're saying. And the same for me too, right? But if you're attached to the result, you can't control the result. None of us can, right? I could walk out. I mean, I've had so many people die in my life. I've had people die in my hands. Like I could walk out the door and boom, that's it. The only thing we can do is to continue to be kind, to practice, to do our best, to have every moment infused with the right intention and motivation. Right, right. That's the Eightfold Path. And then, as conditions allow, it's hard. I know it's hard, but that grasping energy, right, is what is causing our suffering. And I see it in myself too. And then I'm like, okay, right. Just, it's like that, hold on, let go, hold on, let go. I get it. I totally get it. And that's why in the middle of the night, when monkey mind kicks in, it's like, may I be happy? May I be peaceful? May I be safe? Because if you're doing all of the things, there's nothing else you can do. It is the attachment that is causing our suffering. If you're doing a good job and you're a good person and, what else can you do? I mean, make connections and make money and all of that, right? Like, but mindfully with the right intention. But I get it. Totally get it. So it's being human is like, it's weird.
24-hour job.
Well, it is. And that's why I'm saying, like, give yourselves a break. Like and play is so essential. I went up to upstate this weekend to visit my buddy McSwainio, and I bought a slack line with me. Slack line, you put it between like trees, right? It's such an amazing practice. You have to focus, because if you don't, you're going to fall off. But it's only like a foot off the ground. So if you do, you're okay, But it's amazing how like finding balance, everything else falls away. And play is really, really essential for all humans, not just children, for adults. Play. And in fact, and I've said this many times, like play and mirth is the greatest act of rebellion. Truly. I gotta go. I'm gonna go teach in a homeless shelter out in Queens and play with the little kids. There's this one little girl, she's from Yemen. Oh my God. I was helping her learn how to tie her shoes. It was just beyond sweet. And then the kids are just so funny, and to play. Yeah. It's nice to connect with everybody. Karina, I hope this was useful, if not entertaining.
It was very interesting. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope to see you again. I hope to see everybody again. Please be safe.